Alright guys, today I'm going to be reacting to one of the earlier LSD simulations in a movie. The movie is called Harvard Man. It's from 2021, and it has my man Adrian. It's the guy from Entourage. All that I know about this movie is he takes acid and then they try to simulate both what he's feeling, but mainly what he is seeing. So what I'm going to do in this video is dissect his experience. I'm going to relay, based on my own extensive knowledge and trip history, whether or not this experience is accurate. And I shouldn't have to make this clear, but I always do. This entire thing is being done for safety and harm reduction to help you guys so you can learn what to expect, even though I do not advise anybody takes anything. If you are going to take a psychedelic, you absolutely have to test it first. There's substances called imposter LSD, which can actually kill you. So you need this reagent kit to make sure that you have real LSD. Anyway, let's get right into this.
Excuse me. Hey, mind if I sit here?
Go ahead.
Thanks.
The airwaves are free.
So clearly he's tripping on an airplane. That's, first of all, something I would never advise. Not only are you confined into a small area, you've got no room to move, and, you know, airplane crashes are more rare than car crashes, but when you're in that heightened state and you're so susceptible to freaky thoughts, the last thing you want to do is follow a train of what could happen if something goes wrong, and like every little pop of turbulence could send you into pure panic. Highly not advised.
Oh. How you doing? Yeah. You have a little something. Do we know each other?
So first of all, it's unlikely that he's just noticing the visuals now that guy's sitting down. You're not just going to have visuals that are tuned only to human faces. They're more so going to be tuned and aligned with your entire environment. Suffice to say, if you're looking at a head, and heads are going to stretch and grow, everything you look at, wherever your attention lands, is going to stretch and grow. So it's a little exaggerated that he's always like, oh, you got, like, obviously he knows that he took a drug and everything should be shrinking and stretching. Primarily, again, where you focus your attention on. Granted, it is more apparent with human faces because there's more nuanced features. What psychedelics do is they play with shadows. So anything with a lot of shadows is going to have a lot of movement going on with it. It makes everything a little wavy. So the fact that his face is a little wavy in nature is not far off, but it's not going to be so select where it's like all of a sudden just the eye will stretch or all of a sudden the nose will stretch. Everything is going to breathe in a very symmetrical, uniform pattern.
Come. Yeah, we met at the, yeah.
So they're obviously making him look like he's mentally handicapped, which, I mean, they're going to exaggerate these effects in a movie. It doesn't really make you go stupid. I mean, it can in monster doses, and we don't really know, at least I don't know the dose that he's consumed here, but I would say the way he's acting is more in line with other drugs. He looks a little more delirious than anything, which definitely can be afflicted upon you via acid consumption. However, I don't really think his behavior is lining up necessarily with an acid trip. You've heard the saying, you could just stare at a wall for hours because there's patterns emerging out of the wall. You're a little slower paced.
You all right? Do you want a doctor?
No, I am a doctor. Dr. Jensen, nice to meet you. Didn't I prescribe you some really good shit once?
What are you on? Huh? What are you on?
An airplane?
Where'd you get it?
I didn't get it. It got me.
This fidgetiness that he's portraying right now almost seems like he's high on cocaine. All right, looks like the plane has landed. Let's see how his trip progresses. Oh, they got the movement all wrong. It's like they just put a twirly wave effect on different parts of the entire scene. Again, more uniform, breathing. You're going to start seeing some patterns. Vibrance is going to be heightened. You're not just going to have this wavy effect without all the other effects. The only effect that they're using is this very unrealistic realities stretching and twirling in different places, which is ugly. Wrong.
Out for your ride?
What, in a car?
Yeah,
No, small boxes.
Bro doesn't want small boxes. He just got out of being in a tiny, skinny tube, and now he's like, I don't want to be in a small box. Like, I don't get it.
I'll be trapped.
Nah, you'll be fine. It's a beautiful
Now he's trapped.
free ride.
Where you're on the land and you can get out versus what's he going to do in the airplane? Come on.
Who are you?
I'll tell you what, you get in the car, and I will answer all your deep questions, and maybe you can even answer some of mine. All right? Come on. It'll be fun. Go for a fun ride. Look,
There.
pretty lady there, she's driving.
That in the window, his head shrunk and the top started to grow in a uniform fashion. That was not exactly, but that was much more accurate. Very close there.
There you go.
How do you open this?
I think this movie is a one-trick pony. From what I'm seeing visually, they're just going to do that same inaccurate effect. So I'm going to stop commenting on it. Hopefully it shows some more personality, some more mental effects.
What drug did you take, Alan?
You know, want my inside your... Hey, you want me to shove my cane up your ass?
Maybe after we get to know each other a bit.
I'm getting to know another person.
Like I said before, the right answers to the right questions.
God, but those are just words, and words are just
Are you on
noise.
ecstasy?
Okay, so this is a little more accurate to some of the thoughts you might be having. You'll be like, what are the meaning of words? What's the meaning of this? You start questioning things. This is a little bit in line with the trip, just maybe not the way he's going about doing it. It does kind of look like ecstasy, maybe.
What, did you smoke some crack, Alan?
Kind of looks like crack. Yeah, crack
Did you
pipe.
drop acid?
I think the rest of this movie, yeah. Wow, we're not going to watch all of his trip because it looks like it's for literally the rest of the movie. But let's skip ahead. We've got enough of this.
Excuse me. Hi, Al Franken, College 73.
Dad.
Summer program. We're thinking like an Indian reservation. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Hi, Adam.
If I were you, I would free myself.
Fuck.
I would open myself up. I would
That
sing.
asshole.
I would sing a
Fuck
high
him.
C. Sing Aida.
This girl's like, what the was that? Again, this behavior, he's very outgoing. Acid can definitely encourage more social behavior, but I don't know about eliminating his fear of talking to just strangers and like, acting out. Most people under these effects would be a little more reserved, probably thinking, I hope everyone doesn't realize how high I am. Maybe this is what would happen if a really outgoing person did it who was just very comfortable. But again, this is giving me more ecstasy vibes than acid at this point.
Dad, this guy is high, okay?
How do you know?
Just look at his eyes. Dad? Dad, let's go.
Pupils not
Dad.
dilated. Which usually when you take, if he's tripping this hard, his pupils would probably be the size of saucers. For most people, I'm kind of the exception to this. People also comment a lot of my videos when I do these experiment videos. They're like, but his pupils aren't even big. For some reason, mine don't get big. I don't know why. But most people, when she said look at his eyes, you would be seeing basically all pupil, no iris.
Harvard, man, run, River Charles, run.
Holy
run.
shit.
Mr. Al Franken, right? I'll tell you what I'm...
Okay, so those two chicks just morphed into the people he was previously talking to. Probably not going to happen. You can see faces morph, but it's more going to be a slightly altered version of what you're already looking at. You're not going to have a full-on hallucination of one person morphing into another unless you were on maybe the most fantastical of doses.
I personally, Alan Jensen, will accept your daughter into Harvard.
He is weird.
Did you know that the Earth is the insane asylum of the universe?
What did you take? Are you okay?
Run, Charles, River, run! Run! Run!
That's why I gave up drugs my junior year in high school. Me too.
This movie is a perfect example of what would happen if a bunch of people who have never tried a psychedelic in their entire life got together and said, I think this is what happens when you trip. Yep, this is how someone would act. This is what things would look like. No! This is a prime example of people not knowing what the they are doing. Horrible example of a trip. Atrocious. Bad on almost all fronts. Not realistic. Doesn't align with acid. Again, more like MDMA. Maybe even crack. Maybe ice. Visually, the energy he's giving off, it's all wrong. Wrong. So, what would I have done differently if I was him? Well, first of all, I just wouldn't have taken anything on an airplane. One of the dumbest ideas you could possibly conceive. And secondly, I would not have agreed to this movie because this is not a good look. At least in my opinion. But who am I? I'm just some guy who reviews if these drug scenes are accurate or not. And this is definitely not accurate. If I'm going to give this a grade, I would say this is a F. Let's stamp it with a big old F. And maybe the movie's decent. Granted, the bits of acting I've seen suggest otherwise. But if you're looking for an accurate representation of what it looks like to take acid, avoid this movie. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. Check out some of my other examples of psychedelic simulations in movies. Midsommar is an example of a mushroom experience. It's a little more realistic in terms of visuals and the experience they had. It's probably one of the best actual simulations that I've seen in terms of what it can be like to take a psychedelic depicted in movies. Anyway, there's a whole playlist over here of all the videos I've done like this. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And if you like these videos, you can head on over to our Patreon page to watch uncensored content. YouTube makes me cut out a lot of stuff. So if you want to actually see everything, $2 a month allows you full access to all of my uncensored videos on Patreon. Anyway, till next time, take care, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.